Getting ready to step into your career era? Set yourself apart with Adobe Creative Cloud Pro for students. Hone your skills with apps like Photoshop, Illustrator, Premiere Pro, and more, powered with the latest in creative AI. Students save over 55% so you can build a portfolio you're proud of. Launch your future with Adobe Creative Cloud Pro for students. Visit adobe.com/students to learn more.
Breathe deep. Imagine your legs more limber in Duluth Trading Double Flex Denim. Envision euphorically squatting for that can of suds, bending for your toolbox in a state of bliss, lunging for your laser level on a whole new level. Relax and allow the flex to fill you with ability. Find your inner flex in Double Flex Denim only at Duluth Trading.
Sweat moves you forward. Degree Antiperspirant is here to make sure it never holds you back. Clocking in, sweat. Lunch meeting, sweat. Biking home, sweat. Degree Advanced is for the hustlers who put in the sweat. The world's #1 antiperspirant with up to 72-hour sweat and odor protection. Degree, here for sweat. Try it today.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Got a car to sell but no time to waste? Hop on to Carvana.com to get a real offer for your car in seconds. All you have to do is enter your license plate, answer a few quick questions, and if you accept the offer, Carvana will pay you as soon as you hand the keys over. They even offer same-day pickup in many cities. Save your time, score some cash, and sell your car the convenient way to Carvana. Pickup times vary. Fees may apply.
You don't technically need this car. You say that out loud to yourself. You say, I have no space. You say, I'm just looking. Then you click. Then you zoom in on photo number 87 and whisper, oh no. Then you text a friend, the one who always enables you. You say to yourself, this is the last one, knowing it is not. You don't need this car. But maybe, just maybe, this car needs you. Bring a trailer. It's never just a car.
Thanks for listening to the Red Treehouse, where I tell you scary stories to keep you up at night. You can listen to the Red Treehouse wherever you stream podcasts. Be sure to follow, like, and subscribe, and leave a 5-star review. The Red Treehouse is now on Patreon, where by joining, you can receive exclusive member benefits. Simply go to patreon.com/Red Treehouse. The Red Treehouse is dedicated to my dad. I love you, Pop. Important note: sources for this episode can be found in the show notes. Recently, I was listening to an episode of the Ghost Gossip podcast on terrifying ritual games, and it dawned on me that it's been nearly 5 months since we last explored some. A quick side note: if you haven't listened to Ghost Gossip, you're missing out. Throw it into your podcast rotation and be sure to leave a 5-star review. These Scary Games episodes are among my favorite episodes to write because they remind me that while I love the paranormal and supernatural, there's simply no way in hell I'm ever going to play one of these games. They may be nothing more than creepypastas or urban legends, but there's always the possibility that something dark and sinister can use these seemingly harmless games for their own ends. In this episode of the Red Treehouse, we're going to explore 4 scary games to play in the dark: the Hellphone Ritual, Shadow Hide and Seek, How to Summon Your Occult Twin, and the Ghost Paper Challenge. All these games can best be described as summoning rituals, and all are guaranteed to keep you up at night. Is it possible these rituals open a portal to a paranormal and supernatural world? And by playing them, are you opening yourself up to potential malevolent spirits whose goal is to haunt you forever? I'll share the details. You decide for yourself. I'm your host, Will. Welcome to the Red Treehouse. Our first scary game to play in the dark is the Hell Phone Ritual. Let's start with 2 questions. What would you be willing to do to communicate with the spirit of a loved one? And how far would you go? The Hell Phone Ritual may offer an interesting answer. I'll say it a few times in this episode, but always be cautious when attempting to reach out to the spirit world, because you never know who or what will reach back. Here's how to play the Hell Phone Ritual. First, only one player can participate at a time. Once you've mustered up the courage, you'll need to gather a few items. A corded landline telephone. An important note, the telephone must be a corded landline. You cannot use a cordless phone, or a cell phone, or a laptop, or any other device that can make and receive phone calls. A second important note, this ritual requires you to dial a number. The number you'll dial will depend on the person you're trying to contact. Once you have a person in mind, you'll use a simple substitution code where the letters of their first name correspond to a number. So for example, if I wanted to contact a person named Benjamin, the substitution pattern would be B equals 2, E equals 5, N equals 14, and on and on. So then the number I would dial is 2514-1011-3814. For a letter that corresponds to a double-digit number, which is any letter after J, you would input both numbers. It is important to work out this number prior to starting the ritual. Once you have the number worked out, you'll need to gather a black candle and a white candle, a lighter or pack of matches, a watch or a clock, paper and pen or pencil, a verbal safeguard like a prayer or a mantra, a dark quiet room, and obviously, a spirit of your choice with whom to communicate. Before you begin, you must select a date on the calendar, because the Hell Phone Ritual can only be played at 3 a.m. on a Friday morning. An important note, it is vital that you do not attempt to play on any other day or time of the week. Once you've chosen your date, you're ready to begin. First, gather your supplies and bring them to the room before 3 a.m. An important note, you must ensure that you will not be disturbed or interrupted once the ritual begins. Once you're in the room, close the door behind you. If there are windows in the room, pull the curtains closed. If there are no curtains but there are still windows, you must block any light from coming through. Then, set up the telephone. Place the white candle to the right of the telephone and the black candle to the left of the telephone. Keep the matches or lighter within arm's reach. Place the paper and pen or pencil close by. Then, place the watch or clock in an easy-to-see location. Then, turn off the lights. And finally, wait and keep an eye on your watch or clock. Once the clock strikes 3 a.m., the ritual begins. At exactly 3 a.m., light the white candle. Then say out loud 3 times, "May human souls be guided to me by the light of this candle, and may they come in peace." Watch the white candle closely. If the white candle goes out, the ritual has failed. Do not continue. Say your verbal safeguard out loud. Disconnect the telephone and leave the room immediately, closing the door behind you. Do not open the door until sunrise. If the white candle remains lit, the ritual has succeeded. Think about the loved one you'd like to contact. Remember as many details about them as possible, and keep that image firmly in your mind. Focus as strongly as you can. With their image in mind, pick up the telephone receiver and put it to your ear. Then, dial the number for the person you're thinking about. Wait for 10 seconds. What do you hear? If you hear nothing, the ritual has failed. Do not continue. Hang up the phone and disconnect it immediately. Blow out the white candle and light the black one as quickly as possible. Say aloud 3 times, "May the spirit consume the light of this candle, for it will not consume my soul." Then say your safeguard out loud 3 times. Wait for the black candle to go out and then leave the room immediately, closing the door behind you. Do not open the door until sunrise. Then once you re-enter, destroy the telephone and dispose of it and the 2 candles in a location as far away from your home as you can find. But if you hear someone pick up the other line, the ritual has succeeded. Listen carefully. The spirit on the other side of the line will speak for only 1 minute. Listen as they speak, and if you like, write down what they say on the piece of paper. Once the telephone goes silent, you're now ready to end the ritual. First, hang up and disconnect the telephone immediately. Speak your safeguard out loud, and stay in the room until the white candle goes out. Once the sun is risen, you may read the message you wrote down. What does it say? There are a few important notes to be aware of. The message you receive from your loved one may be words or numbers. If numbers, work through the same substitution pattern you used to call your loved one. It may take some time depending on the length of the message. Also, it is possible that things will go wrong during the ritual. Pay close attention. If the white candle goes out during step 2, just before you dial the number, it is possible that someone or something uninvited is now sharing the space with you. And even though the ritual has failed, you may see or hear things over the next 13 days. Shadows, shapes, things out of the corner of your eye, strange noises, scratches, or banging. But don't worry, its goal is only to scare you, and it will be gone after 13 days. If the ritual fails after dialing the number, it is possible someone or something uninvited is now sharing the space with you. Be sure to follow the steps to close out the ritual exactly as I've listed them. And finally, it's also possible that the ritual is successfully completed, but that you may still experience strange phenomena, like nightmares or the smell of rot. If you experience this, the spirit you contacted is darker, more malevolent, and not your loved one. Say your safeguard as many times as you need for it to stop, and hope that it does. Our second game is called Shadow Hide and Seek. What would you give to have good luck for the rest of your life? What risks would you take for a chance at victory? Shadow Hide and Seek may be the ultimate high-risk, high-reward ritual. Win, and you'll have good luck forever. Lose, and it may cost you more than you're willing to pay. Here's how to play. First, you'll need a small group of 4 people and a playing field, though it doesn't necessarily need to be outdoors. Gather everyone together and select a date to play, the location where you're playing, and the time you're going to play at. An important note: the game must be played on the evening of a new moon, and the time must be as close to midnight as possible. Once you've got your group, there are a few items each participant will need to gather. First, an outfit made of entirely black clothing, a mask that covers the face entirely, an item that can make a ringing noise when hit, like a pot, metal bowl, or bell, an item to hit the ringing object, and a flashlight. Once you've gathered your items and the chosen date and time have arrived, you're ready to begin. Wear your black clothing and put on your mask. You must hide your identity as much as possible. Then, have everyone go to the playing field at the agreed upon time. An important note: everyone is arriving separately to the playing field. Do not speak to one another when you arrive. Do not greet one another. Do not make noise. You must remain completely silent from this point forward. Second note: pay close attention as everyone arrives. If you can identify anyone, you must not continue with the ritual. Remember, you're playing hide and seek from ghosts, and if you can identify the participants, so can they. If everything looks good, everyone must line up and kneel on the ground anywhere on the playing field. The players need to be arranged in a line, though it doesn't matter where they line up on the field itself. Once you've done this, remain quiet and keep your mask on. Place the ringing items on the ground in front of you. Then hold your striking item and in unison hit the ringing items. Be sure to remain quiet and keep your mask on. Continue striking the ringing items. Now you may start to feel cold. If you do, remain quiet and keep your mask on. You may feel something touch you. Remain quiet and keep your mask on. You may see strange shadows and shapes out of the corner of your eye. Remain quiet and keep your mask on. Continue striking the ringing items, and only when you get a sense of calmness should you stop striking them. When you do, be sure to remain quiet and keep your masks on. Once the ringing stops, immediately get up, run and hide. It is important that they do not find you. Your goal is to remain hidden, quietly, until sunrise. Do not speak. Do not remove your mask. Do not make a sound. It's possible you may hear familiar voices. You may even see familiar people. Do not let them fool you. Remain hidden, quiet, and with your mask on. And if they spot you, use your flashlight. It may cause them to flee. If you make it to sunrise without getting caught, and the odds are stacked against you even more than you think, congratulations, you've won. You and any other survivors may now speak to one another and remove your masks. Your good luck starts now. Our third scary game is how to summon your occult twin. For me, there are few supernatural phenomena scarier than a mimic or doppelganger. The idea that an entity can perfectly look, sound, and behave exactly like you is horrifying. But what if I told you there was a ritual to summon your occult twin, which in some cultures is a being that accompanies you throughout your life? Would you take the risk and summon it? Here's how. First, only one person can participate in this ritual. Once you've gotten up the courage, you'll need to gather a few items. 7 strands of your hair, 7 fingernail or toenail clippings, a lime, nail clippers, a small paring knife and cutting board, a small piece of white cloth, and an outdoor space near your home. Once you've gathered the items, you're ready to begin. It's important to note, you may start this at any time. Gather your supplies and spread the cloth out in front of you. Place the 7 strands of hair in the center of the cloth. Place the fingernail or toenail clippings on the cloth with the hair. Roll the cloth up tightly and ensure the hair and nail clippings do not fall out. Slice the lime in half. Squeeze the 2 halves, one at a time, over the cloth, soaking it in lime juice. Then take the cloth bundle to the outdoor space and place it somewhere that is well hidden. An important note: you do not need to bury the cloth. It just needs to be out of sight, and you must make sure you're not seen doing this. Finally, return to your home and wait for 7 nights, with the first being the night you hid the bundle of cloth. On the 8th night, pay close attention and stay alert. Sometime that night, your occult twin will appear. Its arrival will be unannounced. You won't know the time or location, but you'll know it's there because it will copy every movement you've already made. Under no circumstances should you approach or speak to your occult twin. Simply watch carefully, because after 7 minutes, your occult twin will disappear. After it disappears, get the cloth bundle and burn it to ashes. Once you've done this, think back on your occult twin. What was it doing when it appeared? And what do you think it was telling you? If your occult twin's movements don't mimic yours, but instead show it doing something else, beware. You've summoned something far darker than your occult twin. Our final scary game is the Ghost Paper Challenge. Have you ever wanted to communicate with a ghost or spirit, but are too afraid to come face to face with one? Then the Ghost Paper Challenge, which took social media by storm a few years ago, may be a good, but still scary middle ground. As with all summoning rituals, it's always important to remember that while you may hope to communicate with a kind, benevolent spirit, it's possible you may get more than you bargained for. So if you want to avoid the possibility of communicating with a malevolent spirit or demon, then skip this game altogether. Here's how to play. First, you'll need at least 1 player for this ritual. Assuming you're playing by yourself, there are a few items you'll need to gather. A piece of paper, a pen, pencil, or other writing utensil, a candle and matches or lighter, a room with a door. An important note: when the door is closed, there must be enough space at the bottom to slip a piece of paper and writing utensil underneath, a watch with a clock, and 3 questions. Once you've gathered your items and you have 3 questions in mind, you're ready to begin. To start the invitation, begin the game just before 3 a.m. Turn off every light in your house, including lamps, overhead lights, and night lights. Then gather your supplies and take them to the room you've selected for the ritual. Close the door. You should be in the dark. Then put the piece of paper on the ground in front of the door. Place the candle next to the piece of paper and light it. Pay close attention to the time, and at exactly 3 a.m., knock on the door 3 times. Repeat the following phrase 3 times. Spirit of the door, I welcome you. Make yourself present and come through. Once you've done this, you're now ready to begin the conversation. First, using the writing utensil, write your first question on the piece of paper. Then place the writing utensil on top of the piece of paper and slide the paper and writing utensil halfway through the space underneath the door. Then wait. If the paper does not move to the other side of the door, the ritual has failed. Extinguish the candle and try again another time. But if the paper moves to the other side of the door, the ritual has succeeded. Wait and pay attention. If the paper does not reappear, do not proceed. Extinguish the candle and wait in the dark room with the door closed until sunrise. If the paper moves back to you, pick it up and read the response. An important note: if the response is angry, hostile, or threatening, you must apologize. Extinguish the candle and wait in the dark room with the door closed until sunrise. Under no circumstances should you open the door or try to proceed with the ritual, and you may want to think twice before trying the ritual again. But if the response is not angry, hostile, or threatening, you may proceed. Using the writing utensil, write your second question on the piece of paper. Then place the writing utensil on top of the piece of paper and follow the instructions for the first question, for questions 2 and 3. Once you've received the answers to your 3 questions, you're ready to end the ritual. First, thank the spirit and say goodbye. Then, extinguish the candle and wait in the dark room with the door closed until sunrise. A few important notes. There is no limit on the number of players. However, regardless of the number, no more than 3 questions may be asked. There are no questions that are off limits. You may ask whatever you want. Just remember to be respectful in tone and disposition. Under no circumstances should you attempt to open the door once the ritual is underway. You must wait until sunrise before opening the door and exiting the room. Keep this in mind if you're playing with multiple people. And finally, if the door opens on its own, and it's possible that it will, run out of the room immediately and pray. Which of these rituals are you courageous enough to try? Comment or email redtreehousepod@gmail.com. And if you had a scary experience while playing these games, let me know and I'll feature your story on an upcoming episode of the Red Treehouse. As we close this episode of the Red Treehouse, we're left with these lingering questions. Is it possible these rituals open a portal to a paranormal and supernatural world? And by playing them, are you opening yourself up to potential malevolent spirits whose goal is to haunt you forever? I've shared the details. Now you decide for yourself. I'm your host, Will. Thanks for joining me in the Red Treehouse.